This morning I'll be
So
going
yeah,
to Serdang
that's
Motorcycle
about what I wanted to share
because there'll
from
be an
today's test
event
rides. For
starting
now,
this
my plan
morning,
is
9
to complete
to
my
3
B
p.m.
full license first. After that,
So I will go there
I look
and
into getting
test
one of
ride a
these
few bikes.
bikes through a bank loan.
ETA is
Most
9:04.
likely with Bank Muamalat,
The
since
event start
they
at 9.
require the full
So
license
what
for
they
the
do, what
application.
they have today
The interest
is
rate is also lower compared to
a test ride
credit loan.
for a lot of bikes,
So I don't want to
and
pay. I don't want
I
to use
had just
credit loan anymore
registered
because the
for
interest is very
LB
high.
full. It
So it
means
just
now I
makes
can
more sense
test
financially, one
bikes
step at a
that are more
time.
than 250
Thanks for
cc,
watching, and I'll
because I
see you
really
on
want
the
to
next ride.
try this big displacement bike, and I'm also planning to buy one maybe early next year. So we see, and then there'll be also food available there that I can eat for free, and then also sale on few equipment. So there's a lot of activities for today, and I'm excited to enjoy being there with my friends. I've been trying riding now using an earplugs, and it has been amazing because when I insert it into my ears, I don't hear that wind noise anymore. Wind noise is very loud, Sometimes if I want to hear music, or if I want to listen to music, what happens is that wind is so strong that I have to dial up my volume up to maximum. But now I don't have to do that anymore because the earplugs is not fully silence all the surrounding. It only silences the wind noise, so I can hear my music perfectly. And it's been amazing, and it's a life changer. When I'm riding long distance, it's become more comfortable now, and I can do much further distance, long distance, without damaging my ears. What a sunny day today. Yesterday, I went to this bike dealership. It's a big one. There was a lot of other bikes I tried to sit on, and I'm quite satisfied after I'm sitting a lot of bikes. It is clear that a lot of these bikes that I don't think is too tough for me. That's not the case after I tried to sit many of those. And I'm positive now that in future I will be buying one of those bikes. That's been amazing. But I want to tell a story here. After I get back from that dealership, it started to rain really heavily. And I think to myself, wow, it's been a long time since I I ride in the rain. Because at the moment I live near to my house. I live near to my office, so I don't have to deal with all the weather because it's short commute now. But then that time it's raining, so it's also a good opportunity for me because I can be testing my new rain suit that I've just bought. And after wearing it, it's amazing how high quality it is. I only spent 100 something, but it's really working, functional. There's no even a single drop of rain coming in, leaking in through my raincoat, which I think is great purchase. And that's all went well because if it's not raining, I won't be having an opportunity to actually try my raincoat. Now it's right, all good. I like this morning is really amazing, right? Because not so many cars. I used to ride with a lot of cars around, traffic jam, congestion. That's really bad, But once in a while, if I got the road like this in the morning, it's superb. I like it. It makes the ride more enjoyable, so you enjoy the bike more. only you and the road in front of you, and without have to slow down without to have been stopped by congestion. And people say like when we're riding motorcycle, we can filter through traffic. It's easy. Yeah, it's also easy, but I prefer not to do that because there's risk of cars changing lane, and then the mental focus required to do that is tiring. When you have to filter through the traffic, for example, more than 5 km, it's tiring. So that's why, but at least we can do that. But I understand. But sometimes, right on a weekend, I don't want to deal with all of that. If I'm riding on the weekday when I'm working, it's still okay. But weekend, I want to have more enjoyment. So that's something that I really truly appreciate. A road like this with not many cars. So I've been using this Banting Kelang Pulau Indah route. Man, the ride today is amazing so far. Sometimes it's okay to ride like this in the city with not many cars because usually I prefer to ride. I prefer to go far outside of the city to enjoy the nature and to enjoy the road with not many cars. But I also like the highway riding, because there's these corners like this. It's enjoyable too. But the problem is traffic. There's a lot of traffic. But today morning not so many. That's why I like it. It's more fun and enjoyable. If I look back, it's been more than 2 years I'm on this motorcycle. I'm with my GC250. One thing that I can rate about my GC250 is reliable. I haven't had any issue with it. I don't know if I'm lucky or it's just Suzuki quality because I saw a lot of people in my community group. They have been they had this leaking on their engine, leaking oil everywhere. But I'm grateful that my bike doesn't have those. But still, they can just claim a warranty for that. But the point is, this bike is really reliable and simple also. I've just added one CarPlay here. After I've added it, it become more modern. And it's easy now to navigate. I don't have to use my phone to mount it out there. And that's what I like about it. And also it's hard for me to sell this motorcycle because it has fulfilled a lot of my requirements, all my necessity that I want to use it for. It's fulfilled all of those. That's why I cannot be selling this bike. If in future I decided to buy a new bike, I will keep this. I won't sell this. So it will become my main or daily motorcycle that I will be using it to go to work. That I will be using it to do errands and only reserve my new bike for the weekend ride. To enjoy twisties, something like that. That's really my target here. Yeah, I have arrived at Kawasaki Serdang motorcycle, which I will be testing few bikes today. Oh, there's a lot of people now. That's amazing. Now I need to find a place for me to park.
Today I'm test riding 3 bikes, starting with the Ninja 650, as you can see in front of me here. So first impression, the seat is low and the handlebar sits higher than expected, so it feels really comfortable right away. I think that's probably why people call this a sport touring bike. As you can see, the TFT display is very nice, clear, easy to read and not cluttered. Everything you need is there. So there's nothing distracting. Although when I'm shifting, right, it feels smooth. And one thing I really like is the adjustable brake and clutch levers. Since I have smaller hands, that actually makes a big difference. Power-wise, you can feel it even at low RPM. It doesn't need to be rev high to move quickly, which makes it very practical for city riding. It feels responsive and effortless. Overall, I think this is a great bike for long distance rides. Just add side bags and you're good to go. The riding position is comfortable and the power is more than enough. So I highly recommend this bike. So if you talk about the suspension, it feels quite balanced, not too stiff, not too soft. It absorbs bumps well, which is important for everyday roads. And for handling wise, the bike feels stable and predictable. It's not too heavy to maneuver, and it feels planted when leaning slightly into corners. So for wind protection, I think it is decent as well. But if we replace this with higher windscreen, I think it will be more comfortable. But this one is just good enough for me because I'm short. But if you're taller, maybe you have to replace this to make it more comfortable so you don't have that wind buffeting effect on your helmet, which is so annoying. And at higher speeds, you can feel some airflow, but it's not comfortable at all. It's very good. And for braking, I think it feels progressive and easy to control because this it's using 2 discs in front and the brake is Nissin, so it's really reliable brakes from Japan. It doesn't feel too sharp, which is actually very good for daily riding.
So now I'm testing Ninja 500. Compared to Z650, I feel like Z50 has more torque to it compared to this bike. But it's comfortable. What I'm feeling right now is tucked in like a sport bike.
So if we're talking about shifting, it is precise. That's what I think. And the clutch is light, very friendly for daily riding and traffic conditions, so we won't get tired quickly. It's manageable when in a day, right? If you travel from really long distance and you're not using highway, you'll be using clutch a lot. So if it's heavy, then it can be tiring. So that's one good point here. The clutch is light. And through corners, I think this Ninja 500 really stands out because it feels nimble, easy to tip in, and very confident inspiring. You don't have to fight the bike. It goes where you want it to go. The lighter weight here really helps. It feels playful, especially compared to more planted and stable feel of the Ninja 650. Suspension is on the softer side, which works well for city roads. It absorbs bump comfortably. Though at higher speeds, it feels less composed than the 650. Braking, it is enough, predictable and easy to modulate, but not overly aggressive. And the braking, it feels like on Ninja 650, it's more firmer, but because that bike has more horsepower. In terms of comfort, it's still decent for short to medium rides, but you can feel that this bike leans slightly more towards sporty than touring. And I think if you want to go for a bike which, for example, Kawasaki ZX6R, but you think you're not ready yet, this is a good bike to start with. And for Ninja 650, it's more if you want to go for Ninja 11000 XX, that's sport touring. So that's what I think a different class here. this bike is meant for toward more sporty than touring. And overall, the Ninja 500 feels like great entry to mid-level sport bike. It's easy to ride, forgiving and fun, especially if you enjoy a more engaging, rev-happy character. Compared to the Ninja 650, this feels less about effortless power and more about rider involvement, how you take corners, how you lean in through corners, and this is really great bike for you.
Wow, the first impression riding Versys 650, it's so freaking comfortable, man. I can feel this seat. It's really soft. Like it's amazing. So that's the first impression.
And this immediately feels like a completely different machine compared to Ninja 650 and Ninja 500. The riding position is tall and upright with a wide handlebar that gives you a strong sense of control, like you see here. You're sitting higher up, which gives a commanding view of the road ahead. And I think I really like this feeling because I'm short, so when I'm sitting quite tall, I can see what happened down there, and also I feel like I'm tall. Yeah, and then it feels natural, almost effortless. The seat, what I think is comfortable earlier because it is spacious and well cushioned. You can tell this bike is really designed with long distance comfort in mind. And as I start moving here, right, the suspension is the first thing that stand out. It absorbs bumps easily. And one thing that I would like to highlight is the front suspension. It uses upside down fork, which is more expensive, and that's why I think it absorbs bumps easily or more comfortably, and it's smoothing out rough roads in a way the Ninja models don't. So there's sense of calm to the ride, but it uses same engine as 650, so it's sporty, it's sport touring machine, but comfortable. At low speeds, the bike feels balanced despite the taller height. Once it's moving, that height actually adds to the confidence. And one thing that I found out when I'm riding this right now is the fact how stable it is. I thought it would be challenging to balance this because it's big, heavy, and I'm short, but it's quite easy to balance. So that's why I think this is really a good option for me to upgrade to buy a bike for my use, especially for long distance ride. And I think I 100% will go for this compared to Ninja 500 and Ninja 650. On open roads, this is where the Versys really makes sense. The upright position, the wind protection, the smooth power delivery, everything works together. You're not just riding fast, you're riding far. The wider handlebar here makes steering feel easy and controlled, especially through longer and sweeping corners. I think, but now we don't have that kind of corners. So, but even the short corner, I can feel that already. It's not as sharp as the Ninja 500 because sport bike, but it feels stable and predictable. Braking is also smooth, progressivity same as Ninja 650. And what's better is it's matching the overall character of this bike. And yeah, what stands out most is how comfortable and composed everything feels. There's no urgency, no pressure, just steady, confident ride. This is a bike built for distance. If the Ninja 650 is sport tourer, the Versys 650 feels like a true touring companion. Add side cases, maybe a top box, and this bike is ready to go anywhere. And in my opinion, if I buy this bike, I definitely use this to do a border crossing to Thailand. Long rides, changing roads, different conditions, it just fits perfect. So yeah, that's about what I wanted to share from today's test rides. For now, my plan is to complete my B full license first, after that, I look into getting one of these bikes through a bank loan, most likely with Bank Muamalat, since they require the full license for the application. The interest rate is also lower compared to credit loan, so I don't want to use credit loan anymore because the interest is very high. So it just makes more sense financially, one step at a time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next ride.